Cup of coffee. We're going to be talking about another of youngest kids' favorite subjects, or he mentions it quite often. I found a website called Legends of America, and a really good website, and it has Navajo Skinwalkers, Witches of the Southwest. And this was written by Kathy Weiser-Alexander, and it was updated on February the 2020.
Skinwalker, it's a demon of your dreams. Skinwalker.
They have written songs about it?
No.
You've written songs about it?
No, that was just something that came to my head.
Okay. And the Skinwalker in Navajo culture is a type of harmful witch that has the ability to turn into, possess, or disguise themselves as an animal.
Yeah.
And in Navajo, which I'm not even going to try that, translates to, with it, he goes on all fours. And it's just one of several types of Navajo witches, but it's considered the most volatile and dangerous. And for the Navajo people, witchcraft is just another part of their spirituality and one of the ways of their lives. So I'm not exactly sure. The term witchcraft is one of those general terms that a lot of occult, which means hidden, things are labeled under.
Yeah, I mean, there's not all spell stuff is witchcraft.
You know, it's just...
For some reason, it just falls under that umbrella automatically.
It does.
Completely different stuff, though.
But within their culture, that is what they consider these people to be, are witches. And they say that witches exist alongside of humans and are not supernaturals. Okay, well, are they human or are they not?
Not supernatural. But if it can shapeshift, it's supernatural. Guess what? Witches deal within supernatural realms. So it is supernatural.
Well, like I said, I think maybe there's either a misunderstanding in translation or something with this. Sometimes it's hard to put other languages into languages that those of us that don't speak the original languages can understand.
Yeah.
Which we found out yesterday I don't do well with British English. Anyhow.
I can deal with it.
Well, you can, I can't. The Navajo believe that there are places where powers of both good and evil are present, and that those powers can be harnessed for either. And there's quite a few places that are considered sacred places.
Mm-hmm.
Not just by the Navajo, but by lots of different peoples.
Yeah. I mean, sacred land is not just explicitly for Native Americans.
Well, yeah, but of their lands, they've got...
Of their land, yeah, it's sacred. But,
yeah.
But I'm saying not all sacred land is Native American land.
No, it's not, because different cultures and different things like that,
mm-hmm.
You know, you can claim a portion of your land to be sacred.
Yeah, like this little house.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why we have the mezuzahs on the doors and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, medicine men utilize these powers to heal and aid members of their communities, while those who practice Navajo witchcraft seek to direct the spiritual forces to cause harm or misfortune to others. And this type of Navajo witchcraft is known as the witchery way.
The witchery?
Yes. Now, witchery is a rather, common term, but the witchery way, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it uses human corpses in various ways, such as tools from the bones and concoctions that are used to curse, harm, or kill intended victims.
Huh.
So don't use dead people parts.
Well, no shit.
Well,
no shit.
We've got dead people parts being put in things today. So that should tell you right there, that's black magic.
I knew that. That's why.
But these people that's listening may not know that. They may not have thought of that. Okay? Now
that should be common knowledge. Don't use human parts.
Now there is a difference. If someone has given their body and different bits to be used by others, that is a gift.
Yeah, that's different.
It is like, organ transplantation and different things like that.
Or like if you have extracted teeth or whatever, and someone's into that sort of thing, you could be like, "Here, I made you a necklace."
Right. But that is a gift. That is an offering.
Mm-hmm.
So that has a different connotation to it.
That's completely different than desecrating a grave or something.
Absolutely,
like that.
It is. Now, the knowledge of these powers passed down from the elders through the generations. The Navajo are part of a larger cultural area that includes the Pueblos, Apache, Hopi, and Ute, and also other groups that have their own versions of the Skinwalker. But each includes a malevolent witch capable of transforming itself into an animal. Sometimes the witches evolved from living their lives as respected healers or spiritual guides, who later chose to use their powers for evil.
Which is sad.
It is remarkably sad. I mean, but, look at King Solomon in Scripture.
Yeah.
So, it happens. It just happens. And witches can be either male or female, but more often than not, they're male. They walk freely among the tribe during the day and then secretly transform under the cover of night.
Okay, if they're primarily male, then how come when people say, "Oh, that's a witch," they're talking about females?
Because people are stupid. Flat out. They talk of things of which they have little to no knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just, I don't know. People can be really, really stupid.
Yeah.
In order to become a skinwalker, he or she must be initiated by a secret society that requires the evilest of deeds, the killing of a close family member, most often a sibling. After this task has been completed, the individual then acquires supernatural powers, which gives them the ability to shapeshift into animals. Around here, it just usually gets them 25 to life.
Yeah, that's it. No supernatural powers for you.
You really is like you're doing hard time.
Yeah.
And these shape-shifting creatures can take the form of coyotes, wolves, foxes, cougars, dogs, and bears, but can take the shape of any animal. They then wear the skins of the animals they transform into, and that's where you get the name Skinwalker.
Right, yeah.
Sometimes they also wore animal skulls or antlers, which brought them even more power.
Mm-hmm.
And they would choose whatever animal they wanted to turn into, depending on the abilities that are needed for a particular task, such as speed, strength, endurance, stealth, claws, teeth, whatever. My God, that reminded me of Pokemon. Why did that remind me of Pokemon?
I don't know. Why
didn't you pick which one that had the abilities to do what you needed?
You didn't pick them by their teeth or whatever. I pick them by cuteness.
Oh my God, I don't think that's how you're supposed to play that game.
Have you played Pokemon?
No, I do not Pokemon. I purchased the Pokemons for y'all.
I didn't get Pokemon. That was Elijah.
Well,
I got into Pokemon later on.
Anyhow, these skinwalkers may transform again if they're trying to escape from a predator. And because of this, the Navajo consider it taboo for its members to wear the pelt of any predatory animal, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because, as far as the skinwalker thing. But they could wear sheepskin, leather, and buckskin, and those were acceptable.
Uh-huh.
Because those are basically domesticated. Well, the deer are not, but
Something that fascinates me is honestly the fact that for some reason people say Wendigo or Skinwalker and they're talking about the same thing.
No, it's two different creatures.
It's like, no. There's two separate entities completely. So
right.
Don't confuse the two.
Right. Well, again, with the witches. Yeah. Because people, they talk out of their ass a lot of times. You know this. Okay, the skinwalkers are also able to take possession of the bodies of humans. And that can happen if the person locks eyes with them. Mm. And after taking control, the witch can make its victims do and say things they wouldn't otherwise. So, yeah, it is possession.
Absolutely.
So apparently
Dragonfly.
apparently there are things that can possess people other than just demonic entities. Of course,
yeah.
The skinwalkers and stuff there, because they are dealing with the forces of darkness, and that's where they're getting their powers. One could question, are they totally human?
Well,
I'm going to answer that. Go ahead with your theory, and then we'll find out if your theory is correct.
In this case, no. They're not considered really human. Sure, they're half human, but they're not anymore. Because they're able to transform into whatever animal, and that no longer makes them human.
Yep. Once they are shape-shifted, one way that others could tell if they were real animals or not is that their eyes are very different from those of an actual animal.
Yeah.
Their eyes appear very human, and when lights are shined on them, they turn bright red.
Ooh.
That would be horrifying.
Yeah, I've heard of that happening.
And it says, likewise, when they're in human form, their eyes look more like animals. Okay, so if they're walking amongst the other peoples during the day, is nobody noticing the eye difference thing? Unless they sort of look at them sideways and go, you're skinwalker.
Yeah, unless it's like that corner of your eye sort of thing. Corner of your eye.
The evil society of the witches gather in dark caves or secluded places for several purposes: to initiate new members, plot their activities, harm people from a distance with black magic, and perform dark ceremonial rites. These ceremonies are similar to those to other tribal affairs, including dancing, feasts, rituals, and sand painting, but they are corrupted with dark connotations. The evildoers are also said to engage in necrophilia with female corpses,
Ew.
commit cannibalism, incest,
Ew.
and grave robberies.
Ew.
And I keep thinking Bilderberg Group. Anyhow,
That's
during
fucked
these...
up. Build-A-Bear.
During
That's
these...
fucked up. How much is fucked up? That's fucked up.
During these gatherings, the skinwalkers shape-shift into their animal forms, or go about naked, wearing only beaded jewelry and ceremonial paint. The leader of the skinwalkers is usually an old man who is very powerful and a long-lived skinwalker. Okay, you got old man grandpa walking around naked with war paint and beads.
It's like, someone get their grandpa, put him back in the home. He's wandering around. Put some clothes on him.
Yeah, grandpa's naked again.
Get him his medication again. Hey, where's grandpa? Ah, he's walking the streets naked again.
Oh, God.
Nobody needs to see
nobody
grandpa
wants
butt.
to see that. At a certain point, naked is not a happy thing. Hollywood is a lie. Skinwalkers also have other powers, including reading others' minds, controlling their thoughts and behavior, causing disease and illness, destroying property, and even death. My God, the world is eat up with them right now.
Absolutely.
Holy cow.
Damn.
There must be a strong correlation between these and the reptilians.
Strong diet.
Yeah, anyhow, it says that those who have talked of their encounters with skinwalkers describe a number of ways to know if they're near. They can make sounds around homes, such as knocking on windows, banging on walls, and scraping noises on the roof. And on some occasions, they have been, as far as them peeping through the windows.
I have heard of that happening, and that's people have always been freaked out when that happens.
Well,
rightfully so.
Let's think about the encounter that we read about the other day, that was labeled about the little green men.
Yeah, I was about to mention that, and it's like, hell no, shoot it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, that's what they tried to do. I think that those guys got, I think they should have been heard a little better.
The fact that it wasn't actually themselves that went to the press, it was just what was heard.
Right. Well, they, again, with the people are stupid. Mm-hmm. It says more often they appear in front of vehicles in hopes of causing a serious accident. It said that in addition to being able to shapeshift, the skinwalker is able to control the creatures of the night, such as wolves and owls, to make them do their bidding. They mentioned about, it's just an owl.
Yeah.
Several owls. Yeah, it was 7 to 9 owls at once.
No.
Some are able to call up the spirits of the dead and reanimate the corpse to attack their enemies. Yep. Because don't be messing with don't be making no zombies.
No.
Because of this, the Indians rarely ventured out alone. Well, yeah.
No shit.
Some of them are said to be able to run faster than a car and have the ability to, I was going to say jump high buildings with a single bound, but anyhow, jump high cliffs.
Spider-Man, they're Spider-Man.
That was Superman. Anyhow, they're supposed to be extremely fast, agile, impossible to catch, and leave tracks that are larger than those of any animal.
Like cats.
When they've been spotted, they've been described as not quite human and not fully animal.
So that they're the horrible in-between, the horrible limbo.
Yeah.
Of being.
Well, it's just this bastardization.
Yeah.
It's neither. So, yeah.
Ew.
And it says...
Now, that is one thing I don't want to run into.
No.
Skinwalker.
No. If you're human, be human. Yeah.
Humans can be monsters, too.
Oh, absolutely. And then there are those that are trying to turn humans into monsters. They're usually naked, but some have been reported seeing the skinwalkers wearing tattered shirts or jeans. Was that because of the transformational process, or do they like them?
Or is it just alternative people?
It's the meth head look.
It's the alt kids. It's the skinwalkers. They're the mall walkers.
I don't know.
They're the mall goths.
No, they're definitely not goth. This is, this is something else. The skinwalker kills out of greed, anger, envy, spite, or revenge. And then it can also rob graves for personal wealth and to collect much-needed ingredients to use in black magic. It says that these witches are supposed to live on the unexpired lives of their victims, and they must continually kill or perish themselves. That almost sounds like psychic vampire for a while, because once you kill, the life is then expired.
Exactly.
So there's a little bit of contradiction in how this is written.
Well, we saw that within the first sentence.
Well, no, she
page.
did a pretty good job on the most of it, for real.
I mean, the most of it, but...
Skinwalkers and other witches have long been blamed for all manner of unexpected struggles and tragedies, including sickness, drought, poor crops, and sudden deaths. Even as far as when somebody experienced windstorms during dances, alienation of affection by mates, death of livestock, reversal of fortune. They were, believed to be the work of a witch. And the Navajo witch purge occurred in 1878, in which 40 Navajo suspected witches were killed in order to restore harmony and balance for the tribe. So they had Navajo tribunal. So it's not just, this happens. Every culture has had them.
Trials.
Every culture has had this. It's not, peculiar to just one. Because the humans can be the stupid.
Very much so.
And it says that today most of the tales of sightings of these witches do not include death or injury, but rather are more trickster-like. So we've got kinder, gentler skinwalkers?
I think not.
I think not either. So...
that's not just a no, that's a hell no.
Okay, it says numerous people have told stories of swift animals running alongside their vehicles, matching their speed.
The black dog.
After a short period, however, they run off into the wilderness, and along the way, these animals sometimes turn into a man who sometimes bangs on the hood. Now, I tell you something, if I'm close enough to where somebody's going to be banging on the hood, no.
I would floor it.
That's the reason I've got that interesting little chair
Just
leg
slam
under
on
the
the
seat.
gas.
Yeah.
Run over their asses.
Yeah. It's like,
Attempt to.
There was a story that told of a man who was making repairs on an old ranch house when he began to hear loud laughter coming from his nearby sheep pens. And so he was alone and he went to investigate. That's never good.
No.
And found all the sheep except one that was huddled in the corner of the pen. However, there was a lone ram separated from the group that was standing upright and laughing in a very human manner.
Oh, no.
After the man locks eyes with the ram, he sees that his eyes are not that of an animal, like it took him looking in its eyes to figure that out.
Right.
But were very human-like.
When do you hear of a sheep, a ram, standing on its back legs?
When you really think about that, that's terrifying.
That is.
The animal then casually walked away on all fours.
Nonchalant.
Now, who is going to stay there long enough to watch this?
I would back the fuck out. I would be like, nope, I didn't see nothing. I'm minding my own damn business. See something?
No.
See something? No, I didn't.
Nope. I'm just going to totally
I'm my own damn business going the other way.
It says some of them have been seen running through the night, sometimes turning into a fiery ball, leaving streaks of color behind them. And then others have seen angry-looking humanoid figures looking down on them from cliffs, mountains, and mesas. That line scared the hell out of me.
Ew.
Because that's like that time that my mother and I were going across 107, and over on the left-hand side, right there on this, there was no way that a human could be standing there. It was this humanoid figure.
Ew.
I mean, halfway down the mountain. I mean, it freaked us out. It freaks us out to this day.
Ew.
We always just figured it was a demon. Well, I guess
it is.
Yeah, I guess it could have been.
What if Bigfoot's a demon?
No, I don't think that.
He's just a gentle ape that's scared of people.
Well, yeah, I'd say so. And it says that
I'd be friends with Bigfoot.
in the 80s, that one of the most notable events occurred when a family was driving through the Navajo reservation. They slowed to make a sharp curve when something jumped from the ditch. It was described as black, hairy, and wore a shirt and pants.
That sounds more like a werewolf, if anything.
I thought werewolves, I think it's just in the movies that they had clothing on.
That's true.
Why would wolves need to wear the clothing?
Don't know.
It says after a few days later at their home in Flagstaff, Arizona, the family was awakened to the sounds of loud drumming and chanting. And
like Indian chanting?
I would assume, since this is a Navajo legend. Outside their home were 3 dark forms of men outside the fence. However, these shadowy creatures were seemingly unable to climb the fence and soon left. So there must have been, it could have been the type of wood that the fence was made from.
Mm-hmm.
So, it says these events have occurred in the Four Corners area of southwest Colorado, southeast Utah, northeast Arizona, and northwest New Mexico. And then in the 1990s, a ranch in northeast Utah, far away from the Navajo reservation, became the partial focus of Skinwalkers. It is called the Sherman Ranch, and the Skinwalker Ranch, the UFO Ranch. And what we will do is do a full cup of coffee about that, probably tomorrow, to follow this up.
Okay.
Because that is a story in and of itself.
And there's a lot of footage from Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, and it says that this ranch is actually located near the Ute Indian Reservation, and that these people have long believed that the Navajo put a curse on their tribe in retribution for many perceived transgressions, and since then the Skinwalkers have plagued the Ute people. Now, a lot of people think that Native Americans were just peace-loving hippies, singing Kumbaya. Mm-hmm. Oh no, these tribes warred with each other.
Yeah, very
massively.
So. Yeah, I mean, that
so
happens with any tribe.
Well, that's true. Anyhow, and it says that witchcraft is very opposite of the Navajo cultural values, and that it's not tolerated, and they work to avoid it and prevent it and to cure it in their daily behaviors. And it says that, however, when it exists, their laws have always said that when a person becomes a witch, they have forfeited their humanity and their right to exist, so they should be killed.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
which is interesting in a lot of ways. But if you have, and we face this with people that are not skinwalkers, if they have violated the norms of society, if they have brought harm to so many others, have they forfeited their right to live? I think, I'm one of these. Do I believe that there's a time and place for capital punishment? Yes, I do. Especially if somebody hurts a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, they have removed themselves from humanity at that point. And
that I agree with one wholeheartedly.
So if you disagree with that, give me just comment, and I will give you a rational, logical debate style thing on that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, they're talking about ways to kill skinwalkers because they're hard to kill. And it says a lot of times the skinwalker will then seek revenge if not killed. And you can see that. Now, you've got this thing that has superhuman abilities.
I would rather just turn the other way and ignore it and mind my own damn business. I didn't see nothing.
If they hurting your people, if they hurting your people and you and stuff like that, it's sort of hard to ignore.
Yeah, but if they can kill my cows if they want, they can kill my they can kill my livestock if they want. I'll feed them.
Okay, successful killing generally requires the assistance of a powerful shaman who knows spells and rituals that can turn the skinwalker's evil back on itself.
Like a reversal type
Absolutely.
thing.
It's like it'll just bounce off and bounce back to him.
Now that, yeah.
Another alternative is to shoot the creature with bullets that have been dipped in white ash.
Where the hell do you get white ash?
There's trees all over the place. Trees all over the place. And you burn that, and then you've got the ash. Or it could be that they've burned something else and that it has burned down to a white rather than a gray. There's different herbs that will do that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
However, this shot must hit the witch in the neck or the head. You remember I told you about Cindy the witch and the picture?
Yeah.
Did that not? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is stuff I'm like, oh, what was my ancestors involved in?
Exactly.
We don't know. And so it's traditionally the Navajo will not speak with outsiders about these creatures for fear of retribution by the skinwalkers. And for that matter, the subject is even taboo amongst themselves. Well, that's interesting because when you don't talk about a problem, that gives more power to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the othering. And I have a real problem with anybody doing the othering. You're not one of us, so therefore we know something you don't know.
Yeah.
Because
like,
apparently...
No, if you have knowledge that can protect other people, share it.
Absolutely. And I think that what did it say? As far as greed,
mm-hmm.
is not a refusal to share knowledge. Greed?
I think that's greed.
It's
or
hoarding.
Selling it. Or selling that knowledge, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that... If somebody knows something, you should not have to pay $49.99 to get the rest of the story. I have issues with that, too.
Absolutely. I do as well. I don't like that.
Of course, this is probably why we're isolated from society, sitting on the front porch talking about skinwalkers.
I don't know. I'm on TikTok, so...
We're antisocial. But I knew that. We're not antisocial. I have low tolerance for stupid. You have a much higher tolerance than I do.
I am stupid.
Uh-uh.
I am one of them,
No.
I can get along with them pretty well. It's just that I have at least 2 brain cells rubbing together, unlike them.
Pisces, that's what it is.
I have 2 brain cells that's playing the world's smallest violin at all times.
No. But the legend of the Skinwalkers is very interesting. The fact that there were several things that I have experienced in my life that I couldn't explain, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to think of things like that being in this area.
Absolutely.
Now,
I don't want to think about that either.
As far as, there are very much people everywhere that practice black magic, if you want to call it that. I have been the recipient of that in the past. And they didn't do anything. The world's smallest violin. That's a long serenade right there.
Yeah.
But anyhow, when things start going weird, that's where you have to do a bit of self-reflection. Go, what part did I play in this?
Yeah, what did I do? How can I reverse it? Did I do wrong to someone? Is there a way for me to fix that?
And some of it is a matter of trials and tribulations and just being on this planet.
If it was something that I absolutely deserved, hell yeah, I'm fine with that. Like, if I did something that was fucked up to someone, I deserve what's coming to me.
No, that is not up to somebody else on this earth. No human has the right to do that. That is not how that works. And because when they do that, it'll come back on them 7 times. You know that.
That's true.
So that's a matter of vengeance, and that belongs to God alone.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as being witched, it's not a fun thing. And you usually figure it out after a while. You're sitting there going, okay, this makes absolutely no sense. I've got paranormal stuff going on. This is totally, and it's a matter of meditating and praying.
Right.
And a lot of times you will be shown who it was. That's what happened with me.
Yeah.
And I was shown who it was, and I'm like, why? And this was just a hateful person that was jealous. I had done nothing to this person. And
people do that. People literally hex people just for the hell of it. Just because they're either jealous of them or
in the vision,
whatever.
It was a matter of her seeing her hands pointed towards me and her fingers curled back towards the wrist.
Ooh.
It was an interesting vision. So what did that mean? That meant that it was going to come back on her.
Right.
So
now I'm curious about that. I'm going to ask you about that after the video's over.
Okay. Because you were born to an interesting mama.
I'm intrigued.
Well, I've been places. I've seen things. I've done things. I've repented.
I've seen shit.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the end. Nobody was spared. Not even the children.
Yeah, really, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that is coming true. It used to be a meme, but now...
Cat meme.
Anyhow.
Cat with the wild eyes that's seen war.
So we now know the difference between Wendigo and Skinwalkers.
Yep, they're 2 completely different things.
They are 2 completely different things.
Of course, I already knew that, but I didn't know all the details about it. I just knew enough to be like, okay, yeah, don't confuse the 2.
Well, and,
That's the same.
Vengeance is another thing that can draw these beings, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of groups, huh? Forgiveness is the key to open a lot of things that are locked.
I'm glad I don't hold on to things very long.
No, that's the blessing of Pisces.
Yeah.
So.
Squishy heart.
Yeah, and it's okay. It's all right. So if you all have had experiences with paranormal or supernatural encounters with UFOs or aliens, skinwalkers, Bigfoot, chupacabra, wendigos, what have you, the
big feet,
elves,
goblins.
We haven't gotten to the elves yet.
Goblins, gnomes.
If you've got local legends, family legends and encounters, anything like that, just email us at cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com, and the email address is always in the description box.
Mm-hmm.
So we're a little bit creeped out now. We're going in the house.
I'm going right back to bed.
I'm going to take my pumpkin spice latte and I'm going in the house.
I'm taking my happy ass right back to bed. I'm curling back up in my loft bed, and I ain't going to let anything. I ain't going to let my feet hang over the edge now.
No, just cover those feet up.
I ain't gonna let no goblin eat my toe with mustard.
Well, the booger man come and stuff you in a sack.
My toes are not a 10-course meal.
Anyhow, thank you all for viewing. Like, share, subscribe, and you all have a beautiful, blessed day.
Boogie Monster. Witch. Skinwalker. You.